All right. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Let's give everyone a few more seconds to join us for today's live stream. I usually give about a minute or two, maybe a little bit more. We announced this live stream yesterday, just so that everyone can join us today. We've been a little bit absent for the past few months. It's been quite an exciting and quite busy month for us. We've been pretty active with a lot of events in the past couple of weeks. And it's been very exciting to meet a lot of our VR users, VR aficionados, and everyone who are so involved with gaming and all these kinds of exciting integrations with our Hi5 VR glove. So again, giving a couple of more seconds for everyone to join. Today's live stream is going to be just introducing the new VIVE connector that we will be putting on our store. If you are familiar with this is actually one of our documentations. The quick start guide that shows you how to connect it to the Hi5 VR glove. In this video, we're going to show you just briefly how to go over it. I also want to share with you that this instructions are actually on one of our videos that's on our downloads page. So make sure you're always checking up our downloads page. We will be sending out emails, newsletters, whenever there's an update for our plugins, software, for our instruction manuals and stuff like that. Do keep updated with those as much as possible. So let's see right now, just giving a few more seconds right now. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started right now. This video will be available online for everyone out there, and it's going to be a quick, brief overview of the accessory that we're going to be introducing. We've had a Hi5 VR glove available for some time now. We started selling the Hi5 VR glove as an accessory is with the HTC VIVE tracker. As we all know, the HTC VIVE tracker is, the little, I like to call it a puck. This is also available on our website. There's limited stock, so make sure you get one if you don't have one. These pucks are limited quantity and they're priced differently. Most are $99 on our website, and some are also available on HTC's website. So, say for example, we've been selling this for about a month or two, and if you don't have accessibility, if you can't afford this, or you can't you don't have this in your kits, don't worry, we have you covered. We have actually an accessory that will be available on our website very soon, and this accessory is for those who already have obviously the controllers. These controllers already come with, when you get a VIVE, HTC VIVE, these controllers come with the whole set. So all you need is an adapter, and we got you covered. This is the adapter that we're going to be putting up on our website very soon. This is a Noitum Hi5 accessory connectors for VIVE controllers. Now this box has a set of adapters. One for your left, one for your right hand, so that you can have that ready to go for your tracker. So let's go ahead and open this so you have an idea what's in the box. So if you can see here in the box, I'll put this in front of the camera so you can have a look of what it looks like. These are the adapters that are in the box. So I'll go ahead and just take them out. Want you little shoes for little hamsters or something? They're so little. They're like very cute, but they're very nice and sturdy, very firm, and a lot of good, a good design to hold the controllers. So you'll notice right away that there's a Velcro on the end. There's a hole that has the little teeth for the screw, and you'll see that there's two doors, little plastic doors, so that you can close and hold the trackers in place. And then there's like a little tab here at the end. That is your stopper, so that whenever you put the VIVE tracker, it sits nice and tidy there in place, and it doesn't move. So these are the set that you have, one left and right. These are great for those who, again, who don't have the Vive trackers and want to use the Vive controllers. So, you know, I will show you real quick how to put the Vive controllers. Of course, you know, the correct way of doing it is you actually put this first, and I'll show you in a little bit. You place this first on the Hi5 VR glove bracket that has a little bolt on it with the screw at the end. Before we go ahead and do that, I want to show you the proper way of putting this into the housing here. So this strap here is basically going to be facing towards your arm. You're going to strap this at the end of the arm, and then the tip of it is going to be facing towards your hands, right? And it's basically going to be the same, you know, for the left and right. You know, depending on, you know, where you put it, but it's usually going to be facing, the tip is going to be facing towards the hand, Velcro is going to be facing inward on the arm. So first things first, you want to open the little housing, and you want to place the tracker basically right on top of it. And then it's like a nice and comfortable little bed there for the Vive tracker. I'm sorry, for the Vive controller. The next thing you want to do is you want to close the first little plastic door there, and then just close the second one. You're going to hear like a little snap that lets you know that it's nice in place. And the great thing about the design of this is that you're going to notice that this controller does not move at all, which is what you want when you're using this for your games. So this is thoroughly designed for the Vive controller, so that it does not move, it does not shake when you're you know, using it for your games and that. So that's the correct way of putting it on. So that's kind of like, you know, a quick heads up of what's going to, you know, going on forward. So let me see if anybody's asking questions here. Yeah, if anyone's joining us today, just feel free to ask any questions. I'm also doing the chat as we're doing the video, and also just kind of showing you what's going on with the accessory. So without further ado, let's start with the right hand. So this is a right hand glove. This is the this is the Hi5 VR glove that we have available on our store. Keep in mind that we have different sizes available on our website. We have extra small, small, medium, medium, large. The good thing about this glove is that it has a stretchable fabric, so it does fit most hands, even if it's medium, large. If you're Bigfoot, for example, you know, I think you're covered there. This is something that is very flexible fabric there. We have on our website instructions on how to put this on as well. I'll go over that after I show you how to put this on. So first things first, we're going to look at the bracket here that's on the glove. You'll notice here there's a bolt with a screw, and there's like a little plastic guide there. You're probably more than familiar with this kind of guide because if you're a camera person, you always see this little plastic guide so that whenever you're placing the camera on a tripod, for example, it does not move, it does not shake. This is an important guide so that you always have the same orientation all the time. So that's the bracket there for the Hi5 VR glove. So you're asking the question, okay, how do you put this guy on? So the first thing you want to look at is you want to look at the back of the plate, and there's going to be an access here. You essentially have to take out the Velcro, okay? You know, you can, personally, this is personal taste, I like to take out the entire strap so I can have enough room. And all I'm doing is just moving the strap on one side, giving myself room so that I can have access on the interior of the bracket. And then you'll see in the inside that there is a little a bolt, like kind of like a screw thing that you have in the back here. It's like a flat head. And you know, these guys, engineering team put a little, you could say like a little controller so you can move it left and right. Of course, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, so always keep that in mind, of course. So right now I have complete access to the bottom portion of the bracket. I'm ready to screw this thing onto the to the accessory here. So let me lay this down. And as I mentioned before, there's a little hole here with a you know, the teeth screw on, so you can put the bolts in line. And then you'll also notice that there's two different little holes here that that fits for the guide. Okay. In this case, okay, remember I'm looking at the tip of the accessory here. This is the tip. I'm going to be using the guide hole that's at the bottom. Okay, that's where I'm going to put the little plastic guide through, and that's, you know, that's where I'm going to be putting the screw in. So that's you know, the most important things you want to keep in mind when you're placing this onto the Hi5 VR glove. So let's go ahead and put this on. I'm going to be eyeballing this right now, and then with one hand I'm going to hold it from the outside. I'm essentially holding it with one hand. Right now I have the bolts going close to the plastic, if you can see here. I'm sorry for that, I just working with one camera here. So this is the screw going through the hole right there. And then I'm holding it with one hand. And then with my other hand that's free, I'm gonna twist and turn so that I can, you know, I can tighten this. Once that is tightened, you want to, don't over tight. Of course, over tightening is not good because you might break something. I think finger tight is perfectly fine, and don't have to be, you know, all the way to the end. Once you finish and you have that pretty well finger tight there, you want to check and make sure it's not sliding. Of course, it shouldn't be sliding because I put it on through the little plastic guide that's in there. That's very important. All right, so that's the first step here. I am done with the interior of this bracket, so I'm gonna pull the Velcro strap, and I will make sure that the Velcro from the fabric of the glove is attached to the bracket of this of the housing of the Hi5 VR glove. So that's good to go. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna attach the Velcro strap onto the little opening here on the other end so that it can close. And all I need to do is just slide my hand in there and tighten. There we go. So that's number one, that's the right hand. So I'll go ahead and do the left hand. So just bear with me and you guys can follow along. It's pretty quick. To be honest, once you do this, and if you're using VIVE controllers, you could just need to do this once, and you don't have to take it off again unless you upgrade to the VIVE trackers. So same thing, I'm removing the strap in the back. This is my preference. This is something that, you know, you can do or not. I like to do this so I can give myself enough room. Same thing. Here's the bolts. Here's the plastic guide. I will place the accessory on top, like so. Just make sure I have this guy. There we go. And with one hand, I'm gonna hold the plastic there in place. With my other hand, I'm gonna tighten the bolt so that it screws in to the accessory. And again, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Making sure that the plastic guide is correct. And like I mentioned before, just make sure that it is finger tight. Don't over tight it. You don't want to break any plastic here, as every device. You don't want to over tight. So that part is done. I will feed through my Velcro strap in the little opening here. I'm hoping you guys can see all this that's going on. So once I'm done with the inside of the compartment, I've already screwed in the accessory. I'm confirming that there's no slippage. Everything's pretty solid. It's like if it's been together, it's, you know, been there forever. It's not going anywhere. I'll go in the back. Basically I'm going to the back of the glove here, and I'm just, you know, making sure the Velcro is seated properly into the back plate. So that's not going anywhere. And then I will complete and close the Velcro end of the strap there. So all I need to do is just tighten. And there we go. This is the back of it, okay? I have the strap ready for me to put the glove on. And I have this strap as well. So let me check and make sure there's no questions out here while I'm kind of putting the equipment in front of me. So I just want to thank Ivan Cueto for joining us today. Exactly what I was looking for since yesterday. Yes, this is one of the accessories that it's obviously the most essential if you are using your VIVE HTC VIVE equipment, and you don't want to buy the VIVE trackers. You have your VIVE controllers. So this is your answer. You need this so that you can use the controllers. So, all right, so the next thing is I'm gonna put the controllers. It all depends. Right now I'm just showing you the way of putting it on. Depending on what your controller is, left or right, when you're setting up the Steam VR, it all depends if this one's gonna go left or right. Just for now, so we can get the proof of concept across, I'll go ahead and put the first controller onto the right hand. And like I mentioned before, let me put this to the side so you guys can see it sideways. Again, the controller is gonna be laying down. It's gonna just relaxing there. Slide it under the little plastic enclosures. Make sure it's hitting at the end of the little tab that's at the back. Okay, so it's not going anywhere as far as going forward or back. So once it's all the way at the end, the next thing you're gonna do is just close the enclosure. First one, second one, doesn't matter which one you close. It could be back or forward. Once you go ahead and close that, just confirm, make sure that this is not sliding, moving forward, up or down. I can assure you right now that this accessory is holding the controller dead on. It is not moving, it is not sliding. This is what I want if I'm using this for the VIVE tracker, and that's good to go. All right, so let's put that aside. That's the right glove. And the next one is going to be the left glove. Same thing for the left glove. Okay, make sure both enclosures are open, the little plastic doors. I'm going to flip the controller down, and I'm going to slide it on the accessory, push to all the way to the end. Make sure it's hitting against the little tab at the end. All right, once that's done, then you want to close the first enclosure and then the second one, okay? Once you go ahead and do that, again, just make sure it's not sliding, it's not moving. What I love about this is that it feels one-to-one. There's no gap, there's no like any loose ends. This is holding on to the controller fairly well. Of course, the power button is on the inside. You want to make sure your controller is on before you do this so that you don't have to do the same process again. But again, this is just show you the proof of concept right now. So once that's done, I've essentially put both controllers into the glove, and I am ready to go to put them on. In the background, you would connect your your dongle into your computer, power on your gloves, wait for the green light. You're gonna feel a little haptic feedback on the wrist side. The controllers will be connected. The next thing you would do is, what I like to do, this is just pure preference, I like to put my hand first into the first Velcro strap, and then slide in my hand into the glove, okay? So once that is done, I'm gonna go ahead and start sitting it on my hand. Don't forget that we have a couple of little access here to the glove that you can actually, these are little fabric, you can say like extenders that you can actually pull the entire glove and make sure it's fitted properly. I feel like this glove is a perfect fit. This is actually a small medium. So next thing I want to do is just I like to extend my hand out, make sure that the controller is maybe about a quarter away from, maybe about 40 degrees away from my hand facing flat. So I'll go ahead and tighten this side here. This is the Hi5 VR glove strap. And the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna tighten the Velcro that's holding the accessory, the VIVE control accessory. What I like about this feels pretty stable. I don't feel any counterweight. This feels natural. This feels good. I'm not, it's not too tight. And the plus side is that you look pretty badass, if you will. So this is like, if you will, like kind of like Iron Man style or something. I don't know. Maybe take it to a Comic-Con or something like that. People just flip out. All right, any other questions before I put the other one? Why are they so expensive? What are we talking about? The accessories will be available later today or very soon. Pricing on that has not been disclosed, but these will save you actually a lot of money from buying the pucks. Keep in mind that these pucks are limited availability. These are $100 per puck. If you're developing for the HTC Vive, you already have the controller, so why not buy the accessory? The accessory is not going to be that price, nowhere near that price, and we're including a set. So you know that's it can't get any better than that. So on the right hand glove, I'll go ahead and put my hand on the first little axis here on the Velcro, and then I'll slide in my hand onto the glove. All right. Now I haven't tightened anything. So far I'm just kind of getting everything in order. Again, I'm releasing this little flap that's in the palm. I'm pulling from the little string that's attached to the glove, and just making sure everything's, all the sensors are properly seated, everything feels comfortable. Again, tighten the palm side, everything's good, and the top of the glove is feeling good, so I think I'm ready to close, but I want to make sure that the direction of everything of my controller, the Hi5 bracket is correct. I haven't tightened anything, so let me go ahead and tighten the glove first. All right, next thing I'm going to tighten is the accessory. And again, you can see, I'm just putting my arms forward. I'm making sure I feel no counterweight. This feels fairly natural, comfortable. It's not swaying. It's not moving. I can move my arms. Of course, when you're dealing with a lot of equipment, make sure you're not knocking things out. You don't want to start breaking stuff because you do have a controller on your arm. So keep that in mind, of course. So you can see here that now this setup here will be working with our experiences with the Hi5 VR glove. These will be available very soon for our users out there. This is one of the most requested accessories out there. So thank you very much for everyone following along here in the video, going through the quick tutorial video of today's live stream today. So I will open up the chat a little bit more so that all you guys can ask away. I'm here hearing you out, and if you have any questions, please put them on the chat right now. So right now, these accessories do not come with the Hi5 VR glove. These are as an add-on. These are optional. Again, these are for the users who don't have the HTC Vive trackers. These are for users who already have the controllers. I think everyone who has a Vive already has a controller. So this is an accessory that will give your controllers extra life, if you will. In that case. So let's see any other questions here. So what's inside the glove? Right now the gloves are tracking with IMU sensors. Each finger, this glove here, this is the business edition glove that we have on our store. This has 7 sensors. There's 1 sensor on each finger, and then there's 1 sensor on the palm, and there's 1 sensor for the arm as well. So these are all the sensors are tracking rotation, movement for your fingers. Essentially, we're using the VIVE controller as the absolute tracking for the hands. You can see that when you get the gloves, or if you have the gloves, you'll notice that there's a little bit of a plastic here. It's kind of like a little bump there. That is the sensor itself. That sensor must be placed on the second knuckle of your hands. Okay. Now, I might be talking here, and you're wondering what's really mean second knuckle. We have instructions on our website that show exactly the placement of the gloves. And let me see if I can find it here. So I'll ask if we can take a look here at my computer. This is when you go to a website. This is the downloads page. When you go to Hi5 VR GLOVE, you go to downloads. You're going to see the plugins. You'll see the demos tutorials. Please, everyone, when you have a chance, this is a must. If you have your Hi5 VR GLOVE, you must go through the demos and tutorials. We have 4 different videos from beginning to setup to calibration to demagnetization to pairing the gloves. These are kind of like the core, the must-dos when you're setting up. The other thing that we have here is we have the Hi5 instructions, user guides, and rigging. When you download that, you're going to get PDF files. I think your best friend is going to be the user guide, which I have already downloaded. This is, as of today, this is version 1.4. We'll be updating that, and I'm going through the pages here, and you'll see that we provide instructions on what is what, where is the housing for the battery, instructions on where to place the battery, how to turn it on, essential stuff to get started. And then we also have instructions on how to put the trackers on, either if you're using HTC Vive tracker, or you're using our now added HTC Vive control connector. You'll see here as well that we also provide instructions on where the sensors should go. Okay, let me zoom into that so you guys can see. So I'm zooming into this because this is very important, guys. This is where the sensor should go on your fingers. Okay, this is very important. That's where they should go. And that's essentially the must-dos and how-tos. We also have instructions on how to fit them correctly. I remember I mentioned there's a little fabric at the back of the palm that lets you pull the glove in place much better, much comfortable. And there's other stuff here and instructions on calibration poses. Calibration poses are very important because it lets the system know your position, your hand position, in space. A lot of times when you're doing your games, you just have to do calibration once. That will essentially last for the next other experiences. What Hi5 VR GLOVE does is it saves a local calibration file onto your computer. So every time you execute a game, it'll look into that calibration file. I recently got this question: is how often do you do the calibration? Well, it all depends on your the users that you're going to be using. You're going to introduce to your experience. For example, if I have somebody who has a large hand, extra large hand, and you do the calibration for that gentleman, if somebody else, the second person comes in and they have an extra small hand, the experience might not be the same. So you might have to do the calibration depending on the size, the different size of hands that you're going to have in your experience. If you do the calibration, obviously for the person with a giant hand, the fidelity is going to be great. But when you have a small person with a small hand, maybe a child with the glove, and you try to have them grab objects or something, interact with some objects in VR, the fidelity is not going to be the same. It's going to be a bit off. So that's more of depending on your experience of how accurate you want it to be. So if you're asking, how often do you do the calibration, it just depends on your experience. Maybe you're not doing perfect one-to-one experience. Maybe you're just you have somebody just throwing a ball, or shooting a ball, throwing a ball, whatever. If you're doing like precision work, obviously you might have to be mindful about your users. Our hands come in different shapes and sizes. So okay, going back to the user guide. Again, this shows you the correct way of doing the posture calibration, and so forth, all that information. So that is on the downloads page. And then most importantly, there's a Hi5 multiplayer demo. I like to tell users to download this demo and give it a run. When you download the demo, you'll see a couple of files here. There's instructions, which I have already opened here. This demo here tells you how to set it up for 1-player, 2-player, multiplayer, different computers, etc. A lot of good fun stuff. And it also comes in with the executable file. So if you want to, show off to a couple of people and show like this is awesome stuff, you want to, give them the next VR hit, go ahead, by all means. Enjoy the game. This game was developed by our team in Beijing. A big shout out to Tobias, Richard, and Chuhai, who worked tirelessly on this demo. A lot of debugging, a lot of work, I'm sure, a lot of late hours on this game. Very simple, but very executed perfectly. You'll see when you open the game, this is a Hi5 multiplayer demo. You can start as a server, connect multiple clients. Most of our users know how to set that up. You can do Zerber Cam, you can do HMD if you're a client, for example. And most importantly, if you want to do the calibration file, just a calibration file, you can actually do it in this demo. At the bottom here, there's a Calibrate Hi5 glove, and this will execute the calibration. And then, like I said, depends on how often, your users, how often you will need to do the calibration file. In most cases, when we go to conventions, VR conventions or game conventions, we might just do it once or twice. But in most cases, one time is enough for the entire day. So that is the demo, the multiplayer demo that's on our website. You'll see that we also have a Unity plugin with a couple of samples. We also have an Unreal plugin with samples at the moment. Now, a lot of our users are sending us email. Do I need to have Steam VR? Yes. Right now, our gloves must have HTC Vive attached to it so that it can function. It needs to have some Steam VR present so that it can track position, otherwise it won't work. Now, we are in the process of doing some C++ SDK. Of course, right now it's still in development as far as access, the access goes. If you have questions regarding that, please send us an email. Again, our email is support@hi5vrglove.com. That is for Hi5 VR support. So all in all, that's the most important information I wanted to pass along to you guys. Thank you again for joining us in this video. We're so excited to share this hardware with a lot of you guys, and we're getting tons of great feedback from a lot of our users. Everyone is so used to controllers, and we're introducing the new generation of VR, which is what we're born with, our hands. This is a very natural way to interact with objects, to play games, to see VR in a different world. I remember the first time I tried this. This is still to this day. I've done quite a few VR experiences. I still remember the first time I tried it, and it's something we always love to share with our users, and seeing their reaction the first time is always a treat for us. So that concludes today's live for the most part. Let me go back into the YouTube chat, see if any questions. So Ivan Quartz was asking, Do I need to have a, no, you do not. Okay, good question, Ivan. Thank you for asking that question. You don't have to have a business to order these gloves. The gloves can be purchased by anyone. The reason why they're sold as a business edition is because they include a commercial license. And not only does it include a commercial license, but we also have a VIP service, a warranty service. Each glove comes with 2 years warranty. We have speedy support email. You can also reach us over phone as well if you have any questions. So they include a commercial license, so we named it Business Edition. It's at right now the current price is $9.99. That includes the gloves, both pair. We have them in different sizes. Again, that's extra small, small, medium, medium, large. And they also include a little dongle. The Vive controllers, the Vive pucks, the accessories are sold separately. That's not included. We do have the accessory that will be available on our store shortly. The Vive controllers, obviously, those are sold with HTC Vive. So yes, that's more, the reason why it's business edition, again, is because it includes a commercial license. All right, so let's see if any other questions out there. So we're getting a question regarding the bending of the fingers as well. That was the guys in Beijing, our engineering team worked tirelessly to work on the algorithm for the bending of the finger. There's reasons why we have the calibration, which is like, you know, the B pose and then the little OK symbol, if you will. Those two calibration poses are very important so that the Hi5 understands your finger movements. It is very important to do those steps. You can't skip those. Of course, only once, depending on your users that are coming in. What it is, it's using a kinematic algorithm so that it can detect basically open and close, and it'll interpolate each bone on the finger for the entire hand. So that is. I'm not going to go too in depth for what it is. The guys in Beijing are the geniuses. These guys did the whole. They did a lot of the homework for you guys so that you don't have to worry about it, but it just works. And the best part of it, it's the accuracy is quite well, and not only the accuracy but also the smoothness of the interpolation as well. We're looking at a lot of different solutions out there, and you know, the Hi5 VR gloves shows a lot of fidelity in the movement, so it feels very smooth. There's no lag. It's just dead on. It works. So of course, words cannot do justification. A lot of our users who already have the gloves are loving it, and they're enjoying it and using it into their application already. So next question here, and pardon me, I'm having trouble trying to see. I'm blinded by the lights, so give me a break here. But let's see if I can see any questions here from my computer. So, of course, the Hi5 VR glove, I'm getting this question from Joe L. Pardon me if I'm misspelling that. Will the Hi5 VR glove benefit perception neuron? Well, we all know that the company behind this is Neudem. We're Neudem International, and the whole algorithm, everything, it's all piggybacking once back to back. Will it benefit of it? Yes, it could. I can't say how, when, where, for example. But yes, we're all hardware, software, in-house. And I think that's the best part of this, is that when you're dealing with our products, this is all in-house. We're not dealing with multiple solutions here. Everything is in-house. So coming in the future, yes, there will be a benefit of all systems, as far as our algorithm goes. Now, at the moment, right now, the Hi5 VR gloves are not compatible with perception neuron. These are total separate systems right now. Hi5 VR glove works with HTC Vive perception neuron 2.0, which is currently also available. Works by itself, standalone. That's a different system. Of course, there's algorithm under the hood that could benefit from each other, but that is to be announced. Okay, next question here. Just making sure I'm not forgetting anybody. So the question is from Ivan Corto, will it be compatible with Lenovo Explorer? Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with Lenovo Explorer. If it's requiring like some kind of integration with SDK, I think that'll be more involved with C++ SDK, as currently right now we're compatible with Unreal and Unity. So I think I will send me an email if that's something that's priority to you. Send me an email at support@hi5vrglove.com so that we can put that as a suggestion. Hi5 VR Glove is still in its early stage as far as going with integrating with other systems. Right now, out of the box, we have Unreal and Unity. And keep in mind, we're not charging any extras for those plugins. Those plugins are included with the purchase. In fact, those plugins are already online, so we're not hiding. No hidden charges, $9.99. It's out there. I'm not a salesman, but I'm just telling you, like, that's out there for you guys. We work with a team that's working tirelessly and sharing accessibility for everyone out there. We understand a lot of our users are, small teams, indie game developers, and every time we hear our users are using our solutions for the projects, and that we made it possible is one of the best, is quite a treat for us. So let me go ahead and put this off so that I can follow up with any questions. So if you guys have any questions for today's video, send us an email at support@hi5vrglove.com. We have a support staff ready for any questions, any inquiries, any requests. If you have requests for software, we want to hear from you. Right now, we released this hardware about a month ago, and we're still brand new as far as integration goes with Unity and Unreal. So I think that is all the questions today. Thank you everyone for being so patient, and we apologize for missing out almost the entire month. It's been quite an exciting month. We were just a couple of weeks at Laval Virtual, which is in France, and we're also at Pro Light and Sound. We're very active with a lot of conventions, a lot of conferences. Make sure you guys follow us on our neuronmocap.com website, which is a Perception Neuron with events. I think the best location to find any more events is also on our Facebook channel. Facebook channels, we're always posting videos of different events that we're attending. We'll give you guys a good heads up. So if we're in town and you want to go ahead and visit us, shoot us an email. Almost every event we have a couple extra tickets, and we're more than happy to invite you guys to come over and hang out at our booth. We tend to have quite a great crowd coming out at the conferences, and it's always exciting to see those faces. We talk to a lot of you guys through email, through phone calls, and then when you see them in person, it's like, hey, like it's an old pal, if you will. So always excited to see all our users in person. Again, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all our social media handles. If you have any projects that are in the works, share us through email, through support@hi5vrglove.com for Hi5 VR gloves. Or if you're using Perception Neuron, we also have our email at contact@neuronmocap.com. All those projects, share with us. We want to see what you guys are working with. We're always excited to see new projects, new ideas, fresh ideas. And it's like I said, it's always a treat for us to see that because there's a lot of hard work going behind the scenes to make it possible to provide motion capture for everyone, either for full body or for VR gloves in that case. So thank you very much for everyone joining us. We will have the accessory available very soon on our website. I won't be announcing price yet. We'll have that available very shortly. And I want to also reiterate that everything I went through today is also available on our support page for Hi5 VR Glove. So if you missed something out there and maybe maybe I got you lost or something like that, there's a better video online through the support page, actually the downloads page, from our very good CTO, Tristan Dye. He is obviously working tirelessly on this technology. He's with us with mocap. So thank you guys. I think that is all for today. Again, don't forget that email, support@hi5vrglove.com for Hi5 VR gloves, or neuromocap.com for perception on questions. So that is all. I won't bore you anymore. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. We'll keep you posted on Facebook on the time and date for the next live stream. So thank you guys. Have a good one, and happy mocapping.